What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. This is Retro Flow coming at you with a live replay. We got the boy Legacy TCG on the left. You got myself on the right going first. I set two spell traps, one monster pass. Aaron does the same, passes it back to me. Draw phase, he goes trap does shoot, which returns a monster in my hand into the deck of his choice. So this is actually tournament gameplay from my local card shop, Card Addiction in Southern California. And Aaron's been on a tear with this deck. He just took first place recently, so it's time to take a crack at the champ. Normal summon Bora. He goes bottomless, gets rid of the Bora. And I set one card, main phase 2, pass. So he used to actually play more of a Raikou control Machina deck, but now he's playing more of a Chaos Machina deck. It's pretty scary. He sets one spell trap, passes it back to me. I set one, flip up the value, battle phase, attack, and luckily it's just a place better zombie. Pass it back to Aaron. He goes blind mystical space typhoon, hits Starlight Road, sets one card, passes it back to me. And here I'm thinking, do I want to apply pressure or do I want to play it safe? Summon Shura, attack, and yeah, gets rid of my board. That Starlight Road would have definitely been helpful there. And I pass it back to Aaron. He goes charges the Light Brigade, sends the top 3 to the graveyard to search out Raikou. So here he sets a monster, passes it back to me. I go normal summon Sirocco, set a card, attack. Effect the Raikou, send the top 3 to grave to destroy the Sirocco. That was a tough call. He could have either picked the Sirocco or he could have picked one of my spell traps, but he chose to go for a Sirocco. He draws. Here he goes for a preemptive DD Crow, banishing the value. So he's actually main decking the DD Crow, sets a card and passes it back to me. Here I go normal Kalut, attack into a super nimble Mega Hamster. Effect sets a Raikou face down from deck. So I pass it back to him. Draw phase Icarus attack, not allowing him to use the effect of the Raikou, and he passes it back to me. Here I go normal summon Shura, attack for 18. Aaron reminded me about the Mega Hamster, and I pass it back to him. He chooses to just set one card again and pass his turn. So here I'm thinking that's got to be a Raikou. So what's the best way to navigate the situation? I go normal summon Blizzard, target Shura in graveyard, chain DD Crow, he banishes my Shura in the graveyard, so I don't get to special summon it anymore. So here I'm kind of forced into a synchro summon with my other Shura, because I have a pretty good feeling he set the Raikou. Here I'm thinking what level 6 synchro would be my best choice. I end up going for a pretty aggressive play. I special summon Brionic, effect the Brionic, discard Gores to return his monster back into his hand, attack directly for the Brionic. for 23 and pass it back to Aaron. Here he goes, Pot of Avarice. Such a good card. It lets him pick 5 cards in his graveyard, 5 monsters in his graveyard, so he can return them into deck and then draw 2 cards. So it allows him to recur his Machinas, his Monarchs, and in this Chaos build, even the DD Crows, which that's pretty killer against a lot of decks. Here he chooses to return a Machina Gear Frame, a Tragodia, Caius, Gear Frame, and Raiko. And now he's going to draw 2 cards to finish resolving Pot of Avarice. He draws into a Brain Control, takes my Brionic. He has to pay 800 in order to do so. And here he's thinking how aggressive he wants to go. And he chooses to attack with the Brionic directly. He uses Effective Brionic to discard 1, return Brionic to extra deck, set 1 monster, set 1 spell trap, and this turn I draw, pass it back to Aaron. He goes Raiko, destroying 1 spell or trap on the field. Because I only have spell traps, goes into a Machina Gear Frame, searches out Machina Fortress, effective Machina Fortress, discard himself and discard Machina Force in order to special summon the fortress. Equips Machina Gear Frame to Fortress and attacks, and he runs into a Dimensional Prison, banishing the Machina Fortress and sending the Gear Frame that was attached to Graveyard. I normal summon Shura, attack with Shura. If this goes through, it's going to be a lot of pressure, and it does. Effect of Shura. Here I had a couple options, but I choose to go for the Kalut, knowing that if Kalut attacks directly, he would be left at 100. And the face down was a Legacy of Yatagarasu. He was digging for the Gores, so he could drop the Gores on the Kalut. But he did not draw into it, unfortunately. I pass it back to Aaron, and here he's in a pretty tough spot. He only has 100 life points, so he has to maneuver around this pretty carefully in a way where he won't be taking battle damage, because even 100 battle damage will cost him the game here. So here he chooses to return 1 card, summon Plague Spreader for effect, summon Gear Frame, search out the fortress. It turns out that's what he returned to top deck. That's why he got it from the top. Synchro Summon. And here he's taking Brionic out. And I think at this point he knows he has to push a little more, so he chooses to return my spell and trap to my hand by using Brionic's effect and discarding 2 cards. Effect the Fortress special summon by discarding Machina Force. Force attacks Shura, Brionic attacks Kalut, leaving me at 35. He passes it back to me. I go draw, set 3 spell traps, and pass it back to him. And here, Aaron's thinking about Mirror Force, so he switches Fortress to defense, attacks with the Brionic. I go Deep Prison, banishing the Brionic, and he passes it back to me. I pass my turn back to him. He switches the Fortress to attack, and it also runs into a Dimensional Prison. He sets 1, main phase 2. I go Dust Tornado. I top deck a monster and attack directly for game. That's game 1. All right, here we got game two. He sets one monster, sets one spell trap, passes it to me. I draw it, don't do anything, pass it back to him. He goes charge of the Light Brigade, sends the top three to graveyard to search out Raiko. Here he just chooses to set one more monster and passes it back to me. So at this point, it's pretty obvious one of those has to be a Raiko. I'm thinking what's the best way to navigate the situation. I think my hand was pretty slow, so it was a tough choice on what to summon right here. Normal summon my Kalut. I attack one of his monsters and he goes deep prison, banishing the Kalut. And I pass it back to Legacy. He goes normal summon Machina Gear Frame in order to search out the Machina Force. And he chooses to pass his turn without attacking. Here he's thinking I have a Gores in my hand. So he chooses to not attack. Effective, no effect. Normal summon Blizzard, no effect. Yeah, my hand was pretty bad. So I had to normal summon Blizzard. Attack into a Raikou. Effect the Raikou. Destroy Blizzard. Pass my turn. Effective Gear Frame. He chooses to attack with the Gear Frame. And he passes his turn back to me. So I have a pretty slow hand, which is why I'm taking a while to think here. Go Whirlwind. I top deck Ashura so I can search out a Blackwing from deck with the effect of the Whirlwind. Since Shura's 1800 attack, I have to search out a monster with less attack. I think I had mostly monsters in my hand, so it was going to be a tough call in terms of what to search out. Take a while to think here, big think. I have a pretty good feeling the face down monster is a Raikou, and the Raikou is going to destroy my Black Whirlwind on this next turn. So at this point, I'm thinking I'm only going to get to use my Black Whirlwind once. So I'm having a tough time deciding what's going to be my singular Black Whirlwind search. I choose to go for a Gale. And I special summon the Gale. Declare effective Gale to half the attack of Machina Gear Frame. So now he's at 900. I could have done this a couple different ways. I could have attacked the Machina Gear Frame with the Shura, but I choose to synchro summon first into a Blackwing Armor Master, which at this point sets up 3 darks in my graveyard. So I special summon Dark Arm Dragon. Effect the Dark Arm Dragon, banish a dark to destroy a monster, one of his cards. I destroy his monster. I attack with the Dark Arm Dragon over the gear frame. I attack directly with the Armor Master, leaving him at 36. So main phase 2, set 1 spell trap. And I end my set another spell trap and I end my turn. Aaron goes into a brain control. So pretty obvious he's gonna take control of the Dark Arm Dragon here. And he does have darks in the graveyard, so he can actually use the Dark Arm Dragon. So here he's gonna banish his DD Crow from the graveyard to destroy one of my cards. But this is a pretty tough call right here because he's thinking, does he want to kill the monster or does he want to destroy a spell trap on the field? And he chooses to go for an Armor Master, which wasn't a bad call, but I chained DD Crow to his to his Dark Arm Dragon, banishing the last dark monster in his graveyard. That way he doesn't get to do Dark Arm Dragon's effect a second time. He attacks me directly for 2,800. I don't have a response. Main phase 2, he normal summons Caius, tributing Dark Arm Dragon, and targeting. He's thinking about what to banish with the Caius, because when he's summoned, he gets to banish a card on the field. He banishes the Black Whirlwind, sets 2 spell traps on his main phase 2, passes it back to me. I effect of Blizzard. When he's normal summoned, I can special summon a Blackwing from graveyard, which at this point I go for Gale, and he's thinking about whether or not to let it go through. It goes through, effective Gale to half the Caius. Enter battle, attack his Caius. He takes 100 because he was halved. And I pass it back to Legacy. Here he goes, effective Machina Force to discard Machina Fortress to discard Machina Force to special summon the Machina Fortress. I activate Bottomless Trap Hole on the summon of the Machina Fortress. And here he's thinking whether he wants to let it go through. He does, but he also chains Torrential Tribute. That way his Machina Fortress doesn't go to the banish zone, it goes to the graveyard. Here, this pot of avarice returned back Machina Gear Frame, Trogodia, Caius, another Machina Gear Frame, and the Raikou. And now he gets to draw 2 cards. And he drew into another Machina Gear Frame, which searches out a Machina card, grabs Machina Force, and effective Machina Fortress in graveyard, discard Force from hand to special summon itself. I chain Royal Oppression to negate the summon. He sets 1 card, passes it back to me. I normal summon Shura. Shura runs into Bottomless, banishing the Shura. And that's going to be it for game two. And here we got game three. I'm going first again. I set 3 cards in my spell trap zone. Normal summon Shura and end my turn. Aaron sets 1 card, passes it back to me. I go Nobleman of Crossout, banishing his face down monster. I normal summon Gale, attack directly with the Gale, attack directly with Shura, leaving him at 49. He goes Lightning Vortex, discard 1 card to destroy all my monsters. Face up, I chain Starlight Road. It protects my monsters, and I get to special summon a Stardust Dragon. And here he goes Brain Control, pays 800, and he takes control of Blackwing Gale. And he's going to use Effective Gale to have the Stardust. And then he should go Battle Phase, run over the Stardust. Pretty sure that's why he did that. And then main phase 2, tribute Gale to normal summon Caius so that he can banish a card on the field. I chain Bottomless to banish the Caius. And effect of Caius still goes through, banishing Shura. I set 1 card, pass my turn. He goes charge the Light Brigade, send the top 3 to graveyard, search out Raikou. He sets 1 monster face down and ends his turn. I normal summon Blizzard, targeting Gale and Graveyard to special summon it from Graveyard. Attack with the Blizzard, run into a Raikou. Fate the Raikou, targets 1 card on the field to destroy. He's going to target Blackwing Gale, send the top 3 to Graveyard to destroy the Gale. I pass it back to him, he draws. And he's in a pretty tough spot here. I have 3 spell traps face down. He has 2 cards in his hand. So my board presence is pretty strong at this point. He's thinking of a way, if there's a way to clear my board. Chooses to end his turn. I attack with the Blizzard. He takes it. He draws and he passes his turn again. So at this point, I go Dust Tornado to destroy his face down. I hit the Bottomless, which is good because that protects my Bora for coming out right now. I attack with the Blizzard and he drops a Tragodia. Luckily, I dropped the Bora, so I get to pierce for 500 by attacking the Tragodia. I pass it back. Aaron draws into a Pot of Avarice. Returns a Chaos Sorcerer, Snowman Eater, Machina Gear Frame, Raikou. And he's thinking about the last card. The last 2 cards. He goes Chaos Sorcerer and another Raikou. Shuffle back into deck, and then he's gonna draw two cards. Such a powerful card, Pot of Avarice. He's taking a look at his grave. He goes Machina Fortress effect. Special summon at bottomless is Machina Fortress. He sets two spell traps and ends his turn. So at this point, I'm wondering if he has Mirror Force and whether to attack with both monsters. Attack, and that's gonna be game. Thank you guys for watching.